My 8-year-old adoptive daughter wrote a poem for my father's 60th birthday. It was about love and her new family. My father snatched the card from her hands and barked at her. "We will never be your family. I wish you had stayed where you were." I did not shout. I stood up, and the whole room went silent. 2 nights before Victor's birthday, Mia took over our kitchen table. She treated it like her private office. She had lined paper, a purple glitter pen, and a small pile of crumpled drafts. They looked like little snowballs. "Read the new one," she asked, holding the page with both hands. She held it that way, so it would not shake. I listened while she tried to make every word sound grown up. Then she frowned and scratched out a whole line. "No, that part sounds fake." She stared at me hard. "Does Grandpa hate fake?" I kept my voice steady. "Grandpa likes the truth." She nodded like that solved everything. Then she started rewriting again. After a few minutes, she slid the page back to me. "I put family in it," she said quietly. "Is that allowed?" I looked at her little jaw. It was set tight, like she was bracing for a no way. "It is allowed," I told her. "It is true." She exhaled like she had been holding her breath all week. Then she whispered, "I just want him to know I am good." She was trying to earn a place she already had. Saturday afternoon in Nashville, Tennessee, my father's house smelled like cheesecake and lemon cleaner. The living room was crowded with gold balloons that said 60. My sister Brianna had already settled near the couch with her children. Logan and Avery sat close beside her. She looked like she owned the best seats. Victor sat in his recliner, grinning at them like they were the whole show. Logan handed him a gift bag. Victor boomed, "That is my boy." Avery climbed onto his knee. He kissed the top of her head. Mia stood beside me, with her handmade card pressed to her chest. She waited for someone to notice she existed. Brianna glanced at her and smiled, the way someone smiles at a cashier. "Hey, Mia," she said. Then she turned back to her children. Victor gave Mia one quick nod. Polite. Nothing warm. When it was time for cards, Mia stepped forward, cheeks pink and nervous. She cleared her throat, then looked at me for permission. I nodded once. She read in a soft, careful voice, "Dear Grandpa, you are 60. That is big and true. You tell stories and fix things and make pancakes too. I did not have a grandpa before, but now I do. Thank you for my new family. I love you." Victor's smile tightened, like someone had pulled a string behind it. He did not clap. For half a second after Mia finished, the room stayed quiet. It felt like everyone was waiting for an adult to decide what happened next. Mia held out the card with both hands, exactly the way she had practiced. Her eyes were wide, hopeful, and too open for that room. Victor leaned forward and took the card too fast, too sharp. His face turned sour before he even looked at it again. Then he snapped it out of her hands and barked, "We will never be your family. I wish you had stayed where you were." He tossed the card onto the coffee table like trash. The words hit the room like a dropped plate. Loud. Final. Mil. Impossible to pretend nobody heard them. Mia's mouth opened, but no sound came out at first. Then her face crumpled, and the crying started. It was the kind of crying that is mostly air, because the body forgets how to breathe. Brianna stared down at her lap. Logan looked toward the television, like it might rescue him. Avery slid off Victor's knee and froze beside the couch. Victor sat back like he had only said the weather, like he had done everyone a favor by being honest. Nobody moved, so I did. I was beside Mia before my brain caught up. I wrapped my arms around her and pulled her against me. Her little shoulders shook like she had been dropped into cold water. "Hey," I said softly into her hair. "Look at me. You are okay." She tried to wipe her face with her sleeve and choked out, "I am sorry. I will fix it." That sentence hardened something in my chest. 8 years old, and her first instinct was to make herself smaller. Smaller, so the adults in the room could feel comfortable again. Victor cleared his throat, like her crying was an inconvenience. Brianna finally murmured, "Dad," but it came out thin, like she was more worried about his feelings than Maya's. Victor waved one hand. "Do not start," he said. "She needs to understand reality." Mia clung tighter to my shirt and whispered, "I will not call him Grandpa anymore." I held her close and stared straight at my father. In that moment, I felt exactly how alone she was in that room. Her tears soaked through my sleeve. Victor shifted in his recliner and tried to smooth his face into something reasonable. "Listen," he said, leaning forward like he was about to give a speech. "I did not mean to upset her, but I am not going to lie. I am tired of everyone expecting me to pretend." I did not answer yet. I kept one hand on Maya's back, moving slow circles because she was still shaking. Victor kept talking anyway. "She has been here, 6 months? That is not family. That is a situation. It takes time." He nodded toward the card, like it was evidence against her. "And all this talk about love feels rehearsed. It feels fake. She should wait until she actually means it." Mia lifted her head just enough to hear the word fake. She flinched like it had touched her skin. Victor added, almost kindly, "It is not personal. It is just honesty. People need honesty." Brianna let out a nervous little laugh, trying to make the room lighter. "Okay, Dad. Let us just." But Victor was not looking for lighter. He was looking for permission. His apology had teeth. He reached for the cake knife, like dessert could reset the room. "Let us move on," he said briskly. "It is my birthday. We are not turning this into drama." Mia's face was still wet against my shoulder. My stomach felt strangely calm, like something inside me had clicked into place. I stood slowly, with Mia still pressed against me. Every eye in the room followed me, like I had become the new problem. Victor looked almost relieved. I think he assumed I would do what I had always done. Smooth it over. Make it quiet. Make it accept. I looked at him and said, "Since everyone here loves honesty so much." The words landed hard. The room went still, even the children. Brianna's smile slipped. Victor's eyebrows lifted, like he did not recognize my voice. I kept Mia tucked against my side, picked up her little jacket from the chair, and reached for my purse. Victor opened his mouth, but nothing came out fast enough. I looked at him and spoke evenly. "Mia is my daughter. I love her more than anything. If you do not see her as family, then I am no longer your family either." The words did not shake. They just sat there, heavy and final. Brianna's mouth opened. "Harper," she said. I cut her off without raising my voice. "Not today." Logan stared at the floor. Avery looked like she might cry too. Victor's face went blank for a second, like he could not process a boundary that did not bend for him. I picked up Maya's card from the coffee table. It was creased now, marked by his hand. I tucked it into my purse like it was evidence. Then I walked out with my daughter, and no one followed. The door closed behind us like a decision. Mia was silent in the back seat on the drive home. Her sneakers were tucked under her, like she was trying to take up less space. Streetlights flashed across her face in the rearview mirror. Every time they did, I saw her swallow hard, like she was holding her crying in her throat. "Mom," she finally whispered, like she was not sure she was allowed to use that word anymore. "Did I do something bad?" My hands tightened on the steering wheel. I kept my voice low and steady. "No. You did something brave. You wrote the truth." She stared out the window and whispered, "He said I should have stayed." She could not finish the sentence. I did not complete it for her. I only said he was wrong. I said it plainly, like a fact that did not need arguing. At the next red light, I reached back and let her hold 2 of my fingers. She grabbed them like a lifeline. As I drove, the shock began turning into something sharper. I realized this was not only about one cruel moment. It was about a pattern I had been trained to survive. Victor had not suddenly become cruel that day. When I was 10, my mother Elaine died, and our house went quiet in a way that never fully lifted. Brianna was 7, still small enough for everyone to call her the baby. Victor's grief turned into rules. The first rule was never spoken. Brianna needed protecting. The second rule was said out loud. I needed to help. The morning of Elaine's funeral, Victor stood in the hallway with a black tie in his hands. He looked right past my face and said, "Harper, get your sister dressed. Make sure she eats something." Brianna sat on the couch wrapped in a blanket, while relatives stroked her hair. They told her she was so strong. Nobody told me anything except what needed doing. That became the rhythm of my childhood. Brianna forgot homework, so I brought it to school. Brianna did not want to wash dishes, so Victor said, "Harper, just handle it." When I complained, he sighed like I was making his life harder. "Be mature," he would say. "Do not add to my stress." I learned to cook because nobody else would. I learned to swallow words because they changed nothing. I became the helper, not the child. By the time we were adults, Brianna had a husband, 2 children, and the confidence of someone always caught before she fell. Victor adored being a grandfather to Logan and Avery. He coached Logan's Little League team and showed up to Avery's dance recital with flowers. He kept framed school photos on his mantle like trophies. I lived across town and worked full-time, but Sundays were still family day. That meant Brianna dropped her children off with me for a few hours. A few hours usually became the entire afternoon. I would take them to Victor's house, cook, and supervise, while he hosted Sunday dinner without cooking or watching anyone. He called it tradition. "Family takes care of family," he would say. Everyone acted like that sentence was a gift, instead of a demand. When Victor's mortgage payment went up a few years ago, he called me late at night. "I do not want to worry your sister," he said. "She has her own expenses." Then he paused, waiting for my old training to begin working again. It did. I set up a $600 automatic payment, without even telling Brianna. It felt easier than arguing. It felt like being mature again. In our family, love always came with an invoice. Dr. Nolan Hayes met Victor in person exactly twice before the Army sent him overseas again. Nolan is a doctor, steady and smart. The kind of man who does not raise his voice because he does not need to. We tried for children for years. Appointments, tests, slow monthly disappointment. The kind that makes time feel different. One night, after another call with a fertility specialist, Nolan sat on a video call from a base clinic half a world away. His scrubs were wrinkled and his eyes looked tired, but his voice was clear. "Harper," he said, "I do not want our life to become a waiting room." I laughed once, sharp and bitter, then stopped because it was not funny. I wanted it to happen the normal way, I admitted. He nodded gently. Normal is not guaranteed. Love is a choice. Then he said, "Let us adopt," like it was the simplest truth in the world. The next day I printed forms, made a list, and took a deep breath. We were not choosing easy. We were choosing ours. We chose the hard yes. I met Mia in a beige office, with tissues on the table and a toy bin in the corner. She sat with her knees pulled up, clutching a stuffed fox with one bent ear. Her hair was in 2 neat braids. Her eyes tracked everything, like she was measuring the room for exits. When the caseworker introduced us, Mia did not smile. She just looked at me, serious and careful, like she was deciding whether I meant what I said. I knelt down, so I was not towering over her. "Hi," I told her. "I am Harper." She did not say her name at first. She only whispered, "Do you have rules?" I answered honestly. "Yes, but we talk about them." The first night she slept at our house, she lined up her shoes by the door. The second night, she asked if she was allowed to open the fridge. By the third week, she corrected me when I called her sweetie instead of Mia, because she wanted her name used right. At month 4, she slipped and called me mom in the grocery store. Then she froze, like she had broken a law. I just said, "Yep, that is me," and kept walking, so she did not have to feel embarrassed. 6 months in, we were buried in adoption paperwork. The court date was still months away, and she was writing poems to belong. Victor hated the idea from the start. He called it honesty, like that made it noble. When I told him we were adopting, he did not ask about Mia. He asked, "Why would you do that to yourself?" "She is a child," I said, "not a punishment." He scoffed. "You are bringing a stranger into your house." Then he added that Nolan was gone too much, and I was basically alone. "This is a bad idea," Victor said. Nolan was on speaker from overseas, and his voice stayed even. "Sir, we are excited." Victor snapped, "Do not call me sir. You do not understand this family." Then he told me, "Do not expect me to play grandpa. Do not push it." I still brought Mia to his birthday party, because some trained part of me kept hoping time would soften him. I walked into that room still trying to win approval from a man who had already decided. Back in Victor's living room, Mia's crying had gone quieter, like she was running out of energy to be hurt. Victor reached for the cake again, pretending the moment was only a small bump. Brianna hovered near the kitchen doorway, eyes darting around, like she wanted someone else to fix it. I kept Mia tucked against my side and faced my father. "Since everyone loves honesty so much here," I said, calm enough that it did not sound like a threat, "I am going to be honest too." Victor leaned back, almost smug, like he thought I was about to apologize for making a scene. I did not. "Mia is my daughter," I said, slow and clear. "I love her more than anything. If you do not see her as family, then I am no longer your family either." The words did not shake. They sat there, heavy and undeniable. Brianna's mouth opened. "Harper, dot." I cut her off without raising my voice. "Not today." Logan stared at the floor. Avery looked like she might cry too. Victor's face went blank for a moment, like he could not understand a boundary that refused to bend. I picked up Maya's card from the coffee table, creased now from his hand, and tucked it into my purse like evidence. Then I walked out with my daughter, and no one followed us. The door closed behind us like a decision. At home, I got Mia into pajamas and made her warm milk with honey. It was what Elaine used to make before she got sick. Mia sat on the edge of her bed, twisting the hem of her shirt. Her cheeks were blotchy, but her voice was careful. "Did I break your family?" she asked. "Because if I did, I can fix it. I can say sorry. I can never write poems again." She swallowed and stared at her hands. "If poems make people mad, I do not want poems." I sat beside her and kept my tone steady. "You did not break anything," I said. "Adults are responsible for adult choices." She shook her head, small and fierce. "But he said I should not have been here." Her eyes went wet again. "What if you change your mind?" I took her hands and held them still. "Mia," I said, making sure she looked at me, "I have never been more sure about anything. You are my daughter. You are staying." I pointed to the little photo on her dresser, the one she had chosen herself. "That is us. That is real." She sniffed and whispered, "Then my poem was not bad." I shook my head. "Your poem was love. The problem was him." After Mia fell asleep, I did not pour wine or call a friend to rant. I sat at my laptop and opened my bank app. The automatic payment was there in black and white. $600 to Victor's mortgage account, scheduled like clockwork. I stared at it longer than I needed to. It hit me how many years I had quietly held up his comfort, while he looked down on my choices. Family to him meant access and control. It meant I paid and stayed silent. I clicked the payment details and hit cancel. The app asked if I was sure. I was. Then I moved $600 into an adoption savings account. That money belonged to Maya's future now. Sunday mornings used to be automatic. Brianna would text that she was on her way, like the schedule had been agreed on forever. Her children would arrive with backpacks, tablets, and no real plan. That week, I woke up, made pancakes for Mia, and let the house stay calm. At 9:07 in the morning, Brianna texted, "Be there in 20. We're doing brunch after." I stared at the message while Mia colored at the table, humming like nothing could touch her. My hands wanted to do the old thing. Smooth it over. Accommodate. Keep the peace. Instead, I typed, "We are not doing Sundays anymore. Please make other child care plans." I reread it once, making sure it was factual instead of emotional. Then I hit send. The replies came fast. "Are you kidding? Dad already feels bad." Then, "We have plans." Then, "So you are punishing the kids now." I did not argue with the texts. I put my phone face down and helped Mia find the blue crayon she could not locate. A boundary does not need a speech. It needs consistency. My calendar finally belonged to us. Brianna called 5 minutes later. I let it ring twice, then answered because I wanted her to hear my voice. "Harper," she snapped. "What is wrong with you?" I kept my voice even. "I am not babysitting today." She made a frustrated sound. "Dad said something stupid. He's old." He apologized. I did not correct her, because we both knew he had not truly apologized. Brianna pushed on. "My kids love you. You cannot just blow up everyone's life because you are sensitive." "I am not blowing up anything," I said. "I am protecting my daughter." She scoffed. "Protecting her from what?" A comment. Then she lowered her voice, like she was being reasonable. "Harper, you are making this weird. We are family." I cut in calmly. "I can say no, and I am saying no." Brianna started talking faster, louder, like volume could turn my no into a yes. "So what?" she said. "You are going to keep her from Dad forever. That is insane. And what about me? What am I supposed to do today?" "You are supposed to parent," I said, and I hated that I had to say it. There was a pause. Then her voice turned icy. "Wow, you have really changed." "I have," I agreed, and ended the call before she could rewrite my no. Victor did not call at first. He texted like a man who believed money was a button he could push. "Harper, the mortgage draft did not go through. Fix it tonight." No hello. No mention of Mia. Just an order. I stared at the message until my jaw unclenched. Then I replied, "I canceled the payment. I will not be supporting your mortgage anymore." The typing bubbles appeared like a pulse. His answer came fast. "Unbelievable. After everything I did for you. Then, you are letting your feelings control you." Then came the line that made my stomach go cold. "Do not act like that girl is your family yet. It is not final. You are embarrassing yourself." There it was. He had found a way to make Mia temporary again, to make my motherhood conditional. He said it like a technicality, like paperwork could erase bedtime stories, packed lunches, and nightmares soothed in the dark. I typed one line back. "Do not speak about my daughter again." Then I sent his calls straight to voicemail. Not as punishment, as a safety measure. Once you set a boundary, the people who benefited from you having none will start recruiting. Calls came from relatives I had not heard from in months. And an aunt. One of Victor's old friends. Each one used the same script. "He is your father. Family is family. You will regret this." I kept my answer simple. He told my child she did not belong. I am not discussing it. My aunt sighed like I was being dramatic. He did not mean it like that. He's just old-fashioned. My cousin tried another angle. "Blood matters, Harper." Then she added, like she was offering a solution. "If this is too stressful, maybe you should reconsider. Maybe she would be better somewhere else." That sentence made everything inside me go quiet. Not rage. Not panic. Just clarity. "Do not ever suggest that again," I said. "She is my daughter. She is not a trial run. If you cannot respect that, You do not get access to us either. I ended the call and blocked the number. Then I did the same to 2 more people, without debating myself. A month passed, and our life started to feel like ours again. Mia stopped watching my face every time my phone buzzed. She started leaving her shoes wherever she wanted, instead of lining them up by the door. On Sunday mornings, we went to the library. She picked picture books, and one poetry book with a bright yellow cover, carrying it like a trophy. Nolan called from overseas whenever he could. Instead of saying everything was fine, I told him the truth. "It is quiet," I said. "It is better." He never asked me to keep the peace. He asked what I needed. Then, one Tuesday afternoon, everything snapped again. I pulled into the pickup line at Mia's elementary school, waiting for her backpack to appear through the doors. 10 minutes passed. Then, 20. No Mia. I parked and walked into the front office, trying to keep my face calm. The secretary smiled politely. "Mia was picked up," she said. "Her grandfather came in early." My brain stalled. "Excuse me," I said. She pointed at the clipboard. "He signed her out. He is on her approved list." My hands went cold. I saw Victor's name in my own handwriting, from months before, when I still believed he might become decent. "What time did he take her?" I asked. "About 15 minutes ago," she said. 15 minutes could be anywhere. I forced air into my lungs and said, "Remove him right now. He's not allowed." Then, I called Victor. Voicemail. I called Brianna. No answer. I called Nolan, and the second he answered, I said, "He took her from school." Nolan did not ask useless questions. He said, "Drive." I am staying on the line. I drove to Victor's house, like every red light was personal. His driveway was full. Brianna's car, Dottie. Victor's, sedan. 2 bikes on the lawn. I rang once, then opened the door when Brianna called that it was open. She appeared in the hallway, already ready to scold me. I walked past her and went straight to the living room. Mia sat stiff on the carpet, hands folded in her lap. Victor sat on the couch, rolling a rubber ball toward her like he was creating a sweet family scene. "Come on, sweetheart," he said. "Grandpa is just playing." Mia did not touch the ball. The second she saw me, she stood and crossed the room fast. She grabbed my hand and pressed her face into my side. I put my arm around her shoulders. Then I looked at Victor and said, "You took my child from school without telling me." He lifted his hands. "Harper, relax. I am trying to make things right. I decided I'm ready to be her grandfather now." Then his mask slipped. "You cannot just cut off the mortgage payment." There it was. Not Mia's heart. Not the cruel words. Just money and control. I took Maya's backpack and walked out. 6 months later, we sat in a small courthouse room. Nolan was beside me, home for good now, with a local doctor job. Mia held her stuffed fox, the bent ear stitched back together. The judge asked if she understood what today meant. Mia nodded hard. "It means I am staying," she said. "Forever." The judge stamped the papers, and that sound felt like a door locking from the inside. At home, Mia still writes poems. Sometimes, she writes about family, and the word does not sound dangerous anymore.